Have you ever wanted to like create your own world, just kind of somewhere that's kind of all yours, completely invented by you? Well, that's kind of what you do when you're writing a story. And today that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Not like getting into the how to write like a good story, because that's a lot of grammar and English and kind of annoying and tedious. So just kind of how to create the world about it. And I believe I'm credible for this because I've been doing it since freshman year of high school. I've been doing it a lot. I have a lot of good friends who professionally write. I've talked to them a lot, so I'm going to get started with my first point in actually creating the world they live in, like the universe. And the first thing you need to know about that is you need to find like your inspiration for the world. Like the thing that you want to base your world off of. Like if you're into fantasy, you want to know like what you want your world to be like. Is it going to be like magical forest or just like a sea world or whatever? You want to know what you're being inspired by. And then once you get that out, to write your story well, you have to know the universe inside and out. You can't have any questions about it. You can't come to a point in your story, you have to kind of just make something up, like, oh, they hit the end of this field, what do I have after that? You kind of have to map it out. And you kind of, the saying, write what you know, that holds true in this case, because if you've never been on a boat and you want to write, your story takes place on a boat, then you're kind of in trouble there, because then you're just making it all up. You're just basing it off movies and what has already been written. So you need to write your own experiences. Like Tolkien and his, when he was creating Middle-earth, according to Humphrey Carpenter and his J.R.R. Tolkien, a biography, Tolkien used his entire life to create a world, like every experience he had. Like as a child, he studied languages a lot. Like he used a mixture of like Finnish and I can't remember all the languages he used to create, like the Elvish language. Like he had a legit setup, and he spent like 40 years doing that. And to create Middle-earth itself, he used the places he grew up as a child, which were like heavily nature places, because I mean he's old, so there was not a lot of industry really. And he was actually born in Africa, so he knows a lot of places in there, and he used the places he grew up in to create his world. And another thing to create his world, he used the stories he told his children, just like in Return of the King, the giant spider. That was a bedtime story he told his children that he incorporated into Middle-earth. And he had all of this made before he wrote Lord of the Rings. I mean, it wasn't just like, hey, I'm going to create this story, then like, hey, I can make it in Middle-earth. It was already a thing for him. And another important aspect is you have to invent the characters, the people who are going to live there and live out your world. An easy way to do that would be to base it off real people you know in your life. Like, use your friends, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your parents, whatever. You can base them off yourself. You just kind of want to do it so you can make them feel real as characters, because that's a problem a lot of people run into. You create someone and then it's just, they're dry and they don't, if you've ever read a book where there's a character that doesn't feel like they're actually could be a real person, because you don't have a lot of backstory to them, and you have to know them completely. Like when creating the character, just know every detail about their life. So when you put them in a situation where there's dialogue, or there's a situation, if they're going to fight or run or try to talk it out, or whatever need be for that situation, but it has to make sense for the character. Like Harry Potter, Rowling based that off herself, because as a child she was like abused and all that. I mean, I don't know if it was abused, but like she did not have a good home life, and so she based a lot of Harry Potter's aspects off her. And really, the trick to writing creatively is really to just read, because you cannot write if you don't read. Like right now, I'm not even sure what book I have in my backpack, but I always have something with me, just because you need something to kind of base what you're doing off of, kind of use it as inspiration or what have you. So really, in conclusion, writing is just a lot of inventing and getting to know what you're inventing. It's a lot of work, and a lot of time it's not even really fun when you're doing it. Like it's, like he said, like with his multitasking thing, like if you're writing on your computer, a lot of the time Twitter seems like a lot more fun than what you're doing because it's so much work. But it's a lot of fun once you get down to it and you actually make something. So I encourage all of you to try it sometime. And thank you.